From 2 News, this is Talkin Sports, brought to you by AAA 24/7 roadside service.
And Bryson Barnes at quarterback. Look to set up a screen. Wide open, Jalen Royals.
That's Utah State wide receiver Jalen Royals, the highest projected local player to hear his name called in this year's NFL Draft. Our very own Dave Fox on the call. Royals had a really good performance in the NFL Combine, ran a 4.42. Reminds me a lot of Atlanta Falcons legend Roddy White, certainly a day 2 pick. Welcome to another NFL special. I'm Lenard Davis Jr. And of course, just like last year, we had some great guests. This year, we got Cincinnati Bengals running back Zack and BYU draft prospect Edge Rusher Tyler Batty will be joining us in just a few minutes. But first, we tackle my NFL first round mock draft, and there's definitely some surprises. Starting off with the top 5 picks in this order: Titans draft quarterback Cam Ward, no surprise there. The Browns should select quarterback Shadir Sanders. Giants take defensive end Abdul Carter. The Patriots will be crazy to pass on Travis Hunter, and the Jaguars take defensive tackle Mason Graham. At 6, the Raiders take Ashton Jeanty. He's the best player on the board, and he fills a need in that running back room. With the 9th pick, the Saints select former Corner Canyon quarterback Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. He can sit behind Derek Carr and ease his way into the starting position. Dart has an NFL caliber arm strength and accuracy, and he's played against some top college teams. Now, near the back end of the draft, things get more interesting. Coach Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers trade up to select his former Michigan Wolverine cornerback, Will Johnson. Then with the 18th pick, the Seattle Seahawks select Tyler Booker, offensive lineman out of Alabama. They need to bolster their offensive line if they intend on keeping quarterback Sam Darnold sack-free. With the 20th pick, the Denver Broncos take a running back. It was a toss-up between Ohio State Quinshawn Junkins and North Carolina's Omarion Hampton. I went with Hampton in my final mock draft. And last but not least, another notable selection, the Kansas City Chiefs trade up to draft Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. He's the perfect heir apparent to future Hall of Famer Travis Kelce. And now it's time to bring in our first guest on the NFL Draft Special. None other than the Salt Lake Mayor himself. I'm kidding. But everyone loves him that much. Zack Moss, how you doing today, man?
All good, my man. All good. How you doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. I know I got a couple questions for you, but I'm going to go off script. What is it like to score a touchdown in the NFL?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, it's a dream. You always dream about you playing in the backyard and kind of imagine yourself, put yourself in that position and stuff like that. So, being able to score my first touchdown, my rookie year, I remember it vividly. When I was in Buffalo versus the Jets. Weird year, COVID year, but still all the same, man. It's always, you keep that ball. I mean, it's a big moment for sure.
Yeah, and because of that COVID year, you didn't get a natural NFL draft experience, but drafted nonetheless. What lessons have you learned so far in the league that a rookie going into the league right now should accept the challenge to right now?
That is a business. It's totally different from college. College is more about, the school, brotherhood, and all those different things. And in NFL, those things are still there, but it's a challenge because you have the monetary factor. What you're seeing kind of guys go through right now in college with the NIL stuff. But, this is business. Learn to separate your feelings and your emotions from, your day-to-day work and things of that nature. And, put your best foot forward each and every day and understand that it's an audition. You're auditioning for a spot on this team each and every day. There's a ton of guys out there working out each and every day that want to be in your spot.
And getting drafted or entering the league undrafted is a blessing nonetheless. But sometimes you end up in a city or state that you're not familiar with. What advice do you have for rookies when it comes to getting drafted or entering the league in foreign territory?
Yeah, I mean, find the guys that are, who have a very long tenure on that team. It could be a year, it could be 2-3 years. They've already kind of went through those stages. and had those questions that you're probably asking yourself or something like that. So find a way to get around the vets, learn what they do in and out of the city, obviously even in the facility and what they don't do outside of the facility and all those type of things. And you'll set yourself up real well just asking questions and not thinking that you have to know everything by yourself.
The last time we talked was on my podcast, and you mentioned something that was so interesting, and I think viewers would find interesting as well, is throughout your playing career, you need different motivations as your career goes along. Elaborate on how you implemented that into your career.
Yeah, I mean, it's life. You set out a goal for yourself, and you want to hit that goal, and once you hit that goal, it's on to the next thing, right? So for me, in high school was getting to college, and then in college it was, getting to the NFL to, take care of my family, take care of my mom and things like that. And once you do that, and I'm going in my 6th year now, so you get past those different steps, and now I have family and things of that nature. So you're always chasing something, and it never stops. And when it does stop, technically you're pretty much done whatever you're trying to do at that moment.
And you also have another one in addition to your family.
Yeah.
Congratulations on
Appreciate
that. What advice do you have for players like Mekhi Bernard, who's the fellow you running back preparing to go to the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge for sure. There's going to be days where you're on practice squad. There's going to be days when you're on the 53-man roster. But like I said, always putting your best foot forward. Doing the extra work, doing the extra meetings, especially as a young guy. Really immersing yourself in the league, and that rubs off real well for the coaches seeing that, and the other guys on the team, the older guys, and it's all about trust, right? In college, you get a lot of chances to some degree. NFL is not that many chances, man. It's either you can do the job or you can't, because there's a lot of people's livelihoods, at stake there.
Very much so. And in addition to that, week to week, when it comes to rookies trying to figure out what they're doing, how they're going to do it, how can they build their confidence week to week?
Just keep doing the things that have helped you in the past, and implement those things, and then do them in practice, and do them at a fast pace. That way you can get those game reps in practice, because it's really hard as a rookie, unless you're a guy who's drafted to really come in and contribute to the team pretty early. It's going to be real hard for you to get those game reps. And then if you get thrown out there, because injuries are part of the game, and if you get thrown out there, right, if you're just mulling over each and every rep, each and every day, not doing what you need to do in the weight room and taking care of your body, when you get your shot, when you get your opportunity, you don't want it to pass you by. So just continue to do the things that have worked for you in the past. Add to that, learn from vets, what has worked for them and what hasn't worked for them, and add that to your tool belt.
And you kind of alluded to my next question. When it comes to taking care of your body, injuries are a part of the game, unfortunately, but it's about how you bounce back. And what new ways have you learned that young athletes can learn right now and implement in their regimen?
Food. For me, food wasn't always a thing that I took seriously. When you're young, and I'm still young, that metabolism is your best friend when you're 20, 19.
Exactly.
So you can get away with a lot of different things then, but as you continuously play, you're beating up your joints, a lot of inflammation, and you go through surgeries and different things like that, your body changes. So food has been one thing, supplements, staying on top of supplements, fluids, what you're putting in your body, all of those things play a big part in allowing you to go out there on Sundays or whatever day that you have a game on that week, to go out there and be at your best.
And I would be remiss to not ask you about Utah football. Tough couple of seasons, but you never lost to BYU.
Yeah.
That's something you can hold your hat on. What will it take for Utah to get back to Ute football?
I mean, they hit the peak real high. And then, those guys had a lot of injuries, and, injuries are part of it, and it kind of sucked to see that. But I think, Coach Witt, I've been up there a few times this offseason, so, I've seen a few of the guys around there. And I think they have a real good plan on what they want to do. They've added some really good pieces. Excited to see what the quarterback and the running back duo that they have now can do. A mobile quarterback like that, man, I think fans are going to really like that for sure.
Next up, Somebody get a ball. I'm about to tackle Zack Moss. Everyone ready? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Thank you so much for taking the time out on the NFL Draft Special to share your expertise and knowledge. This guy bleeds red, but the next guest bleeds blue. Stay tuned. Going from one Utes running back to another, Mekhi Bernard ran for 1,000 yards this past season. He can also catch passes out of the backfield, perfect for the 49ers offense. Utes linebacker Corinne Reed can do it all, from coverage to creating pressure on the quarterback. He fits what most NFL coordinators are looking for, day 2 pick for sure. Defensive lineman Junior Tafuna has 10-year career written all over him, and an anchor for the defensive coordinator Morgan Scalley this past season. He can do the same in the NFL. Going forward, I know what you're thinking. Brad Keithy, compared to Hall of Famer Antonio Gates, Keithy is special when healthy. The Colts need a playmaker in that tight end room. He would be perfect for them. Money Parks is a stud. Get that man a quarterback that he can build chemistry with, and you got a player you can depend on. Money has proven to show up when he's given the targets. Wide receiver Dorian Singer reminds me of Jarvis Landry. Reliable hands, but faster. With a 4.46 40 time, the Texans will be perfect, while Tank Dell is still recovering from that injury. At 6'2", 4.4 speed, cornerback Zamaya Vaughn looks like a Raider to me. This guy has tenacity, reminds me a lot of Aqib Talib, but he's unfortunately underrated due to the lack of interceptions. And I cannot forget about my guy, Alakai E. Gilman, smart IQ safety, just like his big bro, Chargers safety, Alahohi Gilman. The Saints could use some depth behind an aging Tyrann Mathieu.
Johnson with a blitz coming, and he almost, maybe he did throw a pick. Batty!
That's BYU's Tyler Batty, the only defensive lineman in the nation with 2 interceptions, is now joining the show. How you doing today, man? Tell me about that moment. What is it like to have 2 interceptions, the only defensive lineman this past season?
Yeah, man, it was a fun season, fun experience. You know, I've tried to tell people these hands are golden, man. Mm-hmm. They don't seem to believe me, but you know, now we got it on tape, so they don't have a choice. Okay.
Now the NFL Combine experience, you know, you did very well, ran a 4.7, 4.8. You know, what was that experience like for you?
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the NFL Combine was awesome. Being out there with guys from all across the country and just being able to perform, right? You know, we'd all put so much blood, sweat, and tears into that, go out and have a good week, you know, prep leading up to that, and then just, you know, try to enjoy the moment we're out on the field.
Anything in particular that stood out to you being around that many athletes vying for their NFL dreams as well?
You know, something that I thought was super cool was just the camaraderie, you know, in between all the guys. You've got guys coming from all sorts of different backgrounds, all sorts of different schools, and it was cool to sit down with them, whether it was a breakfast or lunch or just in between stuff and chat, and you just realize at the end of the day, man, it's like there's a common goal, but it was really cool just the camaraderie that was shared there.
Your defensive coordinator, Jay Hill, once said that BYU football would not be as tough and tenacious without Tyler Batty. What does that mean to you?
You know, it's a great compliment. You know, Jay paid me, and he's been a great coordinator for us in his time at BYU. You know, to me that just means that I did what I was supposed to do during my time at BYU, man. That I gave it everything I had, and hopefully left the program better than I found it.
I believe you did, because you guys were top 10 at one point in the season. A little bit about that Colorado game. What was that like, man?
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, we had a couple hiccups there at the end of the season, and you know, we had one more game to really make a statement, and that's what we set out to do, and I think we accomplished that.
What is your number one trait on or off the field that an NFL locker room may not have right now?
Ooh, that's a great question. You know, I don't think there's anything that they may not have. You know what I mean? There's a lot of talented dudes in all those locker rooms, but you know, one thing that I would say that I'd bring to that is just, you know, some resiliency, some hard work. You know, I'm not going to quit, and, you know, hopefully that affects the guys around me.
What is an NFL scout or NFL GM getting in Tyler Batty?
Ooh, also a great question. You know, like I said before, you know, I think at the end of the day, they're getting a guy that's just hardworking. He's going to give it everything that he has, and is going to be able to contribute to the team in multiple aspects.
Awesome. So thank you so much for your time, for, you know, coming in and really just, it's a really busy week for you. So I want to thank you so much. A couple more questions for you. What is it about football that makes Tyler Batty tick?
Ooh, everything about it, man. Since day one, since I was a young kid, I think it was all about ball. I love everything about it. Love the passion, love the hard work, you know, and everything it takes to be successful. So, yeah, everything about football, man. I love it.
Okay, awesome. Well, like I said, thank you so much for taking the time out on draft week, the busiest week of your professional career right now, and we'll definitely be watching. You got a friend and fan in me, and we'll be locked in for the remainder of your playing career and beyond.
Thanks, man.
You heard from the man himself, Tyler Batty. I think his toughness would be perfect for the Steelers, learning under Cam Hayward and T.J. Watt. BYU quarterback Jacob Robinson reminds me of Brent Grimes. Don't know who he is? YouTube him. And Robinson has speed, toughness, and ball skills that would translate to the NFL. And last but not least, Darius Lasser is a big weapon for BYU last season. Great route runner, perfect for the Jets to make that team. But we'll have more on the NFL draft after the break. Of the NFL draft tomorrow, live in Green Bay, Wisconsin at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, day 2 Friday at 5 p.m., and day 3 kicking off Saturday at 10 a.m. Best wishes to all the draft prospects, and thanks for watching NFL Draft Special. Good night.